Hi, so this is another comfy video. This is about InPainting, and I discovered a couple of nodes and techniques that make InPainting precisely and exactly a little bit better, a little bit more usable. Not exactly simple, but I think I've got it simple enough that anyone could use it now. So most methods of InPainting I find unsatisfactory, and they keep on coming up with diffusion, InPainting and whatever, and then I find that they're not great. So there's yet another disappointment. So this is just showing what's possible first, and then we'll go through the nodes and the method it's done and the way to use the workflow. So we have an image here with quite a few problems. I mean, we've got an extra factory here, and you see the smoke has gone really funky because in order to get the wild stuff in here, my smoke has gone a bit funky, hasn't it? So I use this as a start image, and I'll show you basically what I did. I haven't improved the image. I've probably worsified it, but it's been a great test bed. So it was the first in paint. I went for a hedge, which was quite fun, and that all worked pretty well. We go back and forth a bit, you can see. And then I went to sort out that funky smoke. There it is. That looks pretty great, belching out there from the chimney. And then I thought that was a nice little home for someone there. We'll take that off and on again. So I made a little conservatory over there. Let's see, it's rather little garden and so on. Quite nice. So I improved. Got the gardener in to improve the bit down in the bottom there, and that all worked fine. Then I thought, well, that was the funky ghosty city in the side there, and I thought, well, we'll be a bit more dramatic and we'll put something big in there. You can see some glitches, so this would have to be sorted out up here. But if I wasn't exactly very careful with my masking, so you can see there's a bit of dodgy masking around there, which I could have done a lot better. And then finally I dealt with the background there. This is all a bit strange there, so I replaced it with a nice flowing river off into the distance. So that's a pretty big change all the way through. Now we'll go through how exactly I did that, and we'll do some more changes so you can see exactly how it works. So here we are in Comfy, and we'll go through how the sky was updated. So this is the image before our nice dreamy river appeared. So we'll go quickly through how that was done. First of all, I shall turn off anything we don't need. This is a very useful node. But if you put search for muter, it'll lead you to it, and it's a very useful node. So I turn off everything except the crop. So we'll start with this. What the crop is doing is chopping out a bit of this image. So we'll put the prompt, we'll chop out the bit we want, and there it is. So I'll go through what all these numbers can do. This is quite handy. It's a get image size, and it tells you the image size there, which is jolly good for your sums. Now the image crop is being driven by, so it just gives a constant number. If you search for constant, you'll find it. Well, I'll do it now actually, and you'll see. So you see constant number, that's the node. I've renamed these so I know which is which. Okay, we'll delete that. And you can see the bit it's chopped out. This is the bit we want to change. So these inputs, this is usually got widgets on it, and I've converted them to inputs so that they can take the numbers from here. So it's finding the size of the image. So, and I'm doing these as constant numbers because I need to send the number on elsewhere in the workflow. So you don't have any outputs on the image crop. So this is a way of getting the number out. And the numbers work exactly the same as the widgets, just we have this lovely output there, which is very useful. So the next section is barely used in this process. So this box here is a pre-process which we'll use in a moment, but this is not being used for this process, and as you see the image coming out the other end is unchanged. It's the same image. So this in this particular process, but in the next pass we'll go over what that does. So that image has gone straight across this box and into the process. So here we go. So this is just a straight image to image. And what you will find is that different sections require different prompts. So I've got my original prompt, which created the image in the first place up here, but I'm taking the clip down to make a new prompt that's more suitable to this image. And for a prompt for InPainting, you really only need to describe what's in this image. You don't need to go mad. I'm using the original prompt, but I've added more about the landscape. So I've added distant mountains, landscape and river. The rest of it is from the original prompt. So if we run that, we'll see our new landscape. So here's our image back. And as you see, our landscape is a lot prettier. This is how it was. And this is how it is now. So you see, all this lot hasn't changed much at all, but our landscape is rather a lot more beautiful. And those damn birds have gone. Why? It loves putting birds in the sky. But never mind about that. So then I need to drop this back into the original image that we started with. And that's where those numbers come in handy. So these are our numbers from the crop coming across here. So we got the last section, which is dropping our remade sky into the original image. So dropping this image back in, and the numbers have come across from the crop. The only extra we have is a feather mask, which is to soften the edges of the tile as it goes in, which you'll see does a pretty good job. There we go. You may be shocked, but there's nothing changed. It didn't arrive. Wow. That is because we have a node in here called Preview Bridge, which is rather a wonderful node because it's like a preview, but you have a mask out and an image out. So I can open this in Mask Editor, and everywhere I paint will get the new updated image. So if I paint a square like this, only this bit will get our new sky. However, in this, I want to drop the whole lot in. There we go. So I'm taking everything across. Save to node. There's not a lot left there, is there? So when I run it again, you'll see the image change. And because we've got this feathering, it'll be soft around the edge. And we should see those pesky birds vanish. There they go. Birds gone. And we have a pretty good, I can't see a join, can you? Perhaps a little one here, but... So as you see, we've got a bit of a funky thing happening there. So, but we can fix that. So we go back to the Mask Editor, and it was just here. So what we can do, now if we run that, there we are, all fixed. So as you see, it's very, very easy to do a simple remake of a section of the image. Well, what we'll do now is make a more complicated change that uses this workflow here as well. So what we're going to do is remake this. We're going to make a little town here, I think, because I want it more residential. So we'll change that into a steampunk town. First of all, we need to upload our new sky. So we choose the file to upload. That last one will be in temp. There we go. So you have to keep on reloading the image off the end there. I haven't managed to automate that. I'm sure there's a way, but I haven't worked it out. So what we want to do is we want this section here. So we need to crop it out. So we do that with this, and I'll turn off everything else. So only working with the crop now. And it's the crop size is a bit hard to work out. So we can just work it out roughly. Let's take a 1024 chunk out first and find out where that leads us. So 1024. Try and stick to standard STLX sizes, because life will be better. And we're right as far left as we can possibly go. So we're right over there, far left as we can possibly go. So that number is 0 because it always comes in there, the crop. So we can make that 0. Let's have a look at that. There we go. That's a crop for over there. And then we want to go down, and that's where our handy numbers here, we can do a bit of sums. I don't think that's going to cover our village though, but never mind, we can deal with that in a moment. So we know that the amount it has to move down on the Y is 2304 minus 1024. So that's our height. So we know that's how much we have to move down. So we know it's got to move down 1280. You can do it just by moving the numbers and moving it down slowly. But I do it by doing sums. So there you are. It's moved right the way down. Now I need a little bit more to the right here, and I've got too much at the top. So I need to extend that to, let's extend it across to 1536. No, that won't work. There we go. We've got almost all. I think we need a bit more, don't you? I think we need a little bit more. Although maybe not. No, we'll just do this little area here. I think that's fine. Yep, I think I'm happy with that. So now we find out what this does over here. So I shall make this group to always. And you'll now see what this funny thing here does. I shall turn all of this colour correct back to zeros and cue the prompt. So it's making random noise. So here you see this patch of random noise that is automatically the same size as this. So this patch of noise is the same size as that. And that patch of noise is going to do a really important job. We want to change this and do it at not too high a denoise. So, and I think we want our town, if we look closely here, I think we want our town to be not quite so orangey. So what I can do is change the colour tint here to cool. Let's have a quick look at that. So that's gone cool. That's quite nice colour. I quite like that. And then we want to drop some of this over that. And that's where the very wonderful preview bridge node comes in. So if I paint in the mask editor, and I'm just going to paint the bits I want to change. So I can paint all this in with a big brush, and I'm going to stop at this building here, and I'm going to stop at that pipework there. That should be good. You can come back and try this several times, so you do not have to get it right first time. I think that looks pretty good. We're changing the grass there, I think. You can be as precise or as you want or not. So we'll save that to the node, and we've got a couple of bits missing, but I don't think that's going to matter. So here's what you get. So it's put some hazy blue stuff, you see this here, all over the top. This noise has a purpose. This noise is to help it along its way towards what we want. There's a few things. I think this could come out of the equation, and I think those bits need tidying up. So go back to the master editor. So you want to take that out of the calculation, and there's a couple of bits there we need to get into the calculation. I think they were there. They're very good there. I really don't like mask editor. It's like going back to the bad old days of Microsoft Draw or something, isn't it? I always miss bits. No, I think I've done it well there. So we'll cue that. So you see the areas have changed slightly. Now, the next thing I want to do is make this a little bit darker, and I can do that here with the gamma. So this is altering this noise to 2. And you see that's a little bit darker. Possibly a bit too dark, that one. But I could increase the contrast a little bit, maybe. But you can play with this. That is probably too much. Maybe not, we'll see. So essentially what this is doing is these areas will change more easily than these areas. And it'll have some relation to the original thing. So we'll run that and we'll see how badly it goes wrong. The first try very often goes wrong because you have to adjust your prompt to get it working. So we'll make this to always, and we'll turn our load on. This is all our model. We'll turn all that on. And now we want to think about the prompt. I think we want the original prompt, which we have coming in here. That's fine. It doesn't mention colour. We'll go and have a look at the original prompt, just in case it does. No. So I'll do a slightly higher denoise because we've got a big change. So I'm going to do 50, and this is again something that you can mess with to get different results. So you don't have to send it on to the next stage until you're happy with what you've got. So we'll cue that. So that's back. Oh my God! And you see it's changed that area, but it's changed it rather too much. Do not despair. That is telling. In some ways, that's a good sign because it shows that it's going to change. So we've gone too strong there and probably too high on the denoise, but never mind. And also our prompt needs to go big on what the change needs to be. And this is a big thing with this method, is you need to get everything working in concert together, and only then will you get what you want. So what we'll do, we'll go to a new prompt here, to our auxiliary prompt, and put the original prompt in and see how we can make this more like what we want and take out anything that might have made that. So what we could do is we can take out all of this and we'll say it's not a town palace, it's a town. I think we can leave machine in because that's very steampunky. And these are the keywords for the Lauras here. So we say roofs, chimneys, houses. Probably enough. And then this is there's too much of this. So we can come down, and this node here is blending this over the original image. So if we come down to say 50, and you're going to have to do this a few times. So this is now feeding. So here we go. And there we have our town. Not quite steampunky enough for me. I think I want a bit more steampunky than that. So I'm going to put some more steampunky stuff in. Pipes, storage tanks. So look what we've got here. I think we might add garden. And then we can run that through again. But this is quite hopeful. That's more like it. Look at that. One more thing. I don't think I like the light very much. So I can add morning sun. Shadows to give it some idea of the light. And I think we can have a little bit more of a change. So we'll go up to 55 on the denoise. If I was doing this not for demonstration, I would now go through several seeds to see if I could get something that looked exactly how I wanted it. So here's our remade bit of residential. So you see we've now got windows and it all looks a little house there, and that looks a lot better. I had to do, this was the third iteration. So the changes I made were in the prompt. I went big on the pipe, storage tanks, etc. On the steampunky stuff, and I gave it a weight, and I lowered, you see that here? I lowered the opacity here. So I put, it was half, so it's now got only 25% in, and that's turned out about right, I think. So now we need to put our new remade, or rather like the round windows bit. That's rather funky. So we now need to put it back into the original image. So that's quite simple. What we do, we know this is the image it's going into. So we know it's going to fit into here. And we know this is the edge of the picture. So what we're going to do is mask in the things we want. So we open in Mask Editor, and we're going to paint in all the stuff we want. And you can come back and do this. You can have several goes at this. You don't have to get it right first time. Don't know where. I'm going to end on that pipe, I think. We'll see. But as you'll see, we can take things out and put things in now, which I find is rather fun. Okay, so there's our mask made, and that's going to take a chunk of our brand new town out, and it's going to plonk it in here. It won't fit perfectly first time, I warn you. So now I've got some things to do. The bottom is the bottom of the picture. So the feather mask for there is 0. The left is the left-hand side of the picture. So the feather there is 0. Other than that, we just click go and see what happens. There we go. And then you can just go looking for bits you don't think fit. So this all fits beautifully here. Something a bit funny there. So we need to hit that. And where else we got funnies? That's gone on. That's fitted amazing well. Look how well that's fitted onto there. I think we want some of the dark under there, but I love the pipe going up. So we've got just here and under there. We'll do that first. So that's the great thing with this method, is that we open that in Mask Editor. So we want to have a little bit of this under stuff here, but well, it's tiny. We quite liked that pipe. So we'll keep that. And we had something funky here, didn't we? So we'll take a bit out there. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. There we go. That looks very nice. So yeah, so we've got a shadow under there. Something funny there, but that's all right. That's improved. See, that's all nice there. In fact, everything looks pretty nice. Let's go over here to see how it fitted in. And there you go. Right, so now we're going to do a small detail. So we have our clock here, and we saw how I won't run over how we get that bit loaded. I've done it here. So that's our bit cut out with the image crop. And next we will make that to always. And next we'll do the clock. So what we want to do is to paint in where we want our white there. Open in mask editor. And I think we want to be quite accurate. Oops. Accurate-ish. I think that'll do. Save that to note. Oh, I missed a whole big bit. Look at that. Mask editor. Have that bit. Okay, so we'll cue the prompt, and that should drop a bit of that noisy stuff in there. There it is. Well, that looks pretty good. So we can send that on, and our prompt I have already altered. We understand how that works now, I think. So I've changed it to a steampunk town clock, machines, pipes, etc, 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 etc. We need to turn our load on, and we can cue prompt. So there's our clock back, and that looks rather good. Maybe, no, I think that's fine. I would probably mess around. The clock's a little bit out of scale, but so I would stress the town clock, maybe town clock in a tower or something like that. Anyway, but that's no problem. So now we want to drop it into the final picture. So to do that, we open in Mask Editor, paint in what we want, and only what we want. That looks good. Save that to the node, and run the last section. And there it is. And there's our clock. So I'll quickly flip back through the sort of things you can, where you can make adjustments. So obviously picking the size and context of your crop is quite important. The masking is fairly simple. This area, you can make a lot of adjustments here. So, you know, I could have made this whiter, I could have made it darker, I could have made it more yellow. It might have been nice, a little yellow. But this is one area where you can have a lot of influence on the final result. And of course, never underestimate the importance of the prompt. So if I wanted this sort of more yellow and old and a huge clock, then here is where I would prompt, because at the moment we've got sort of out of scale clock. I don't think it really matters in this case, but you could prompt for a sort of for a huge town hall clock. So I hope that was interesting and useful. The workflow will, as usual, be in the description under the video. You will probably encounter missing nodes, but this is fairly advanced video, so I assume you know how to install missing nodes using the manager. Okay, thanks for your attention. That's the lot.